This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're on location in Littleton, Colorado with Rock Canyon Roofing. Since 2019, this referral-based company has been providing residential and commercial roofing with honesty, quality, and performance for the entire Front Range. I'm joined with David Cox, who is the roofing expert, owner. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. You're formerly educated at University of Northern Colorado.
Yes, sir.
You really grew up here in Colorado. You've served folks here in the Colorado state as well as Florida. You know quite a bit about when it comes to weather and roofing. Share with me a little bit how this passion got started for you and you got involved in this industry.
Well, actually grew up in Fort Collins on a large cattle operation, learning different trades doing that. But then after college, moved to South Florida, got involved in commercial construction down there, and then started doing a lot of hurricane restoration. And then about 7 years ago, came back home to Colorado, and have really just focused on the roofing side of things here. Felt it was better to be an expert at one thing than having to deal with every single trade. So now we really specialize in a lot of hail restoration,
Right.
Because that's one of the big issues that Colorado has, wind and hail. But we also do a fair bit of new construction, i.e. what we're doing here today.
Great day. We've chosen to be here today. The weather's okay for
Right,
you guys.
right, absolutely. And you know, a lot of people think that, you know, Colorado, what do you do in the winter? Well, we roof year round.
Okay.
We had high winds yesterday, so we had to be a little bit careful with some of the materials, how we handled it. But, you know, if there's snow, sometimes we will shovel it off, whatever it takes to keep the projects going.
Speaking of Colorado, when we live in a beautiful state where the sun shines hot, the rain and hail, it falls heavy. We're talking about heavy wet snow or all the elements that our exteriors experience in a year. Are all these factors really, it's what we need to consider when we're putting a roof on like this?
Absolutely. There's Colorado's very unique weather-wise. We have the freeze, the thaw, the hail is a huge issue here, and wind. So there's products that we use for roofing in Colorado that, well, there's a lot of products that we can't use in Colorado that we could use in other places just because of the wind ratings or the hail ratings and stuff like that.
I mean, the biggest investment most of us make in our lifetime really is our house. Mm-hmm. And yet what protects that asset is our roof. Really, a roof is an investment in protection. It can be costly, so why is it important that we get it done right the first time?
Absolutely. One of the downsides to being in a state that has a lot of storms, especially the hail, is we get the storm chasers.
Sure.
And these are more of the fly-by-night companies that
Sure.
that come in from out of state. They run through, they'll do something subpar, and then they're gone. And so we always tell people, we try to educate our consumers.
Absolutely.
To do their research, know the company that they're hiring, don't pay money up front.
Yep.
And really do their research. Look up the companies. And if you don't, then you know there's a good chance you're gonna be in trouble.
Risk.
Yeah. And we see a lot of it, unfortunately. We get called in on a lot of projects where, you know, the previous roofer had just half-assed something.
Sure.
And then we've got to come fix it. And we see,
terrible,
unfortunately, we see a lot of it.
I mean, due diligence is so important when you're talking about something so costly like this. I mean, the first step for consumers when they're choosing a roofing company, obviously, is trust. I mean, this is an industry, like you said, it's full of storm chasers, fly-by-night, so-called professionals come in, do a quick job, and they're out the door. Why is it important for folks to go with a local, licensed, HAG-certified company like yourself?
Well, the important thing is warranty.
Okay.
Your warranty on a roof is only as good as the person riding it. So, you know, somebody can give you a lifetime warranty, but if they're in a different state and they don't have crews here, they're not going to be here to take care of something. Sure. when it goes wrong. And there is things that go wrong. You know, we can install a roof on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday have a super high wind and lose a few shingles. Wow. It happens. It's the nature of the industry. and we know it, so we're prepared for it. It's like, okay, we've got to come back and fix a few things. Typically, we don't have much warranty work because we try to do it perfect the first time, so we don't have to come back. But as a consumer, just knowing where this person is, you know, who the owner of the company is, dealing with the owner, and with all of our projects, I'm physically on every project.
Wow.
So I don't just send out a crew. I don't just have salespeople out here. I'm on the project. I see it, touch it, and feel it the whole way through.
You're talking with these folks on the front end. You're there to the final walkthrough. I mean, that gives you some peace of mind knowing that right there. When most consumers have a problem with their roof, I mean, let's face it, there's a bit of panic that sets in. The stress of who to choose to serve them, but even if their insurance will cover that actual expense. Share with us how an insurance claim specialist can help a person navigate through that.
Well, insurance companies, as good as they are, they're not here to pay out claims. That's not where they make their money. And so anytime an insurance company is involved on a claim, they're going to try to minimize their risk, their exposure. And so on almost every single claim, the insurance companies will short certain portions of it.
Oh, yeah.
In hopes that, you know, the homeowner's fine with it, they're not going to push it. And so what we do is we fight for every penny for that homeowner. We want to be able to give the homeowner a brand new, up to current code roof without it costing them anything more than their deductible.
That is awesome. I mean, filing a claim with an insurance, I mean, it's overwhelming. It's frustrating. I mean, we're talking an adjuster that comes out, and he's got his job is to basically make sure he gets the least amount possible that's in your hands. Are you able to come out at that time and actually represent your client and be in their corner? Absolutely.
That's one of the most important things, is having the roofer on site when the adjuster is there.
Wow.
And even now it's gotten even more extreme in that direction, because what a lot of the major carriers have done is they're subbing out their inspections. So they're subbing it out to inspection companies that are not trained adjusters.
Wow.
And so these inspectors will get on a roof and they'll look at it and go, oh, it looks fine, I'm out of here. When in reality, there's a tremendous amount of damage. This roof needs replaced. And when we're on site with them, we can point it out to them, we can explain it to them, we can work with them, and it makes the claim go so much better.
Helps the customer sleep at night.
Absolutely.
Knowing they've got somebody that knows what they're talking about, because I wouldn't know the first thing.
No, we're in their corner. We're representing them, not the insurance company.
That is excellent. Whether you want to fix a damaged roof or upgrade an old one, it all starts with a roof inspection. Tell me what takes place during an inspection, and is it free, and what's included?
Well, roof inspections are always free. Okay. We never charge to come out and take a look at somebody's roof, and we recommend that most people get their roof inspected once a year.
Interesting.
And big part of that is a lot of people have hail damage and they don't know it. People don't get on their roof, they don't go look at it. They weren't here the night that the hail came through, so they don't even know they have hail damage. And most of the insurance policies now have a 12-month window for you to file that claim. So if you don't know there's damage and it's 2 years out, insurance isn't going to cover.
So periodic checking it out is very important.
Absolutely. And when we come inspect a roof, it's not rocket science. You know, we get up on the roof, we look at it, we check out everything, we walk all of it, look at all the little things that are typically what could go wrong, and 90% of the time, the roof's fine.
I mean, I imagine when you're standing out on the street that not all the damage can be seen. I mean, you're able to take photos. You can really determine if the damage warrants an insurance claim, and kind of walk through the customer and give them their options, if you will.
Absolutely. The one of the problems with the storm chases is they'll get on a roof that has minor damage, or even none, and say, oh, we can get this bought, we're gonna get you a new roof for free. We get on a roof, it's either damaged or it's not. There's either enough damage for a hail claim or there's not. If there's enough damage, we will represent that customer. We will fight for them. If we have to get multiple adjusters out there, if we have to get engineers involved, we will. If we, you know, there's times when we have to get attorneys involved to get some of these roofs bought, and it's a time-consuming process. And you know, we've had roofs, big commercial roofs, where it's taken us 3 years of fighting to get it covered. But you know, when you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar roof, sometimes you have to dig in.
So when you say you're there from the beginning to the end, sometimes it could be
it can be a long time.
I mean, being able to negotiate required code upgrades, all these things you're able to help with, folks. Being residential or commercial, you're able to help both of them. We're looking at a project you got going on here today. Share with me a little bit about what we're doing here with this particular project.
Absolutely. This is kind of a unique project. Most houses, as you look around, have pitch roofs where they'll put, you know, tile or asphalt shingles, things of that nature. This is a more unique house. It's a very contemporary design where they're doing all these multi-leveled flat roofs, and that is a completely different type of installation. It's a different type of knowledge that has to be done. There's drainage issues, there's insulation issues, and anything flat that's going to have snow loads on it, sitting on it, rain sitting on it, it has to be perfectly waterproofed. And so
way different when you're talking it's not slanted.
Completely different animal.
It's going to hold all that snow we talked about.
Right.
I mean, one of the products you're looking at here is an EPDM single ply membrane. Is this a solution you continue to recommend?
Yes. There's the modern flat roofs. You know, you don't see the old tar wagons out here anymore. The stink, the smell, and all that tar being put on roofs. Nowadays, we use a single ply membrane that's put on top of polyiso insulation and a fireboard protection layer. And this roof in particular, it's being built perfectly flat, so we're having to taper the roof with the insulation. That way it has drainage and a 1/4 inch runoff in directions to the drains. And then you have to have a secondary overflow drain also. And so it's a very technical process when you get into these flat roofs.
Oh, impressive. I mean, when business owners or homeowners like this, they're looking at a return. In roofing, longevity is the return they're looking for. I mean, these single plies, they last literally decades. I mean, that has to be an important factor for folks.
Well, it is. And if they're done right, they could last 30 to 50 years.
Wow.
And hail is still an issue with flat roofs.
Sure.
But we're able to mitigate some of that with some of the material we use. For an example, the fireboard that we have to use, we can use a product that's called fiberboard, which is a very porous board that the membrane gets glued to. But the problem with that is when hail hits it, every hail hit breaks the adhesion because it's soft underneath it.
Oh, okay.
So what we do is we use a more expensive product called Dens decking, which is a fiber reinforced gypsum type product, which is extremely hard. So when that membrane is glued to that, hail hits it, it just bounces off.
Wow.
It's
talking
almost
about
impossible to destroy.
the roof we're standing on here. When you're done with it, it's basically going to be highly durable, resistant to tears, punctures. It can handle all the elements Colorado throws at it. Is this an exciting project? How long do you think this will take your guys to knock out?
We'll be finished with this by the end of the week. You know, a typical shingle roof, we can do a tear off and replacement in 1 day. We'll put, you know, 5 to 10 guys on a crew and knock that out real quick. This is much more intense.
Yeah.
All the way that the taper system and the insulation goes down is like a jigsaw puzzle, because there's different thicknesses of the taper, and we have to have it tapering in different directions to the drains. So we have to lay all that out first, then we have to cut the Dens deck on top. Then that all gets screwed down with these monster screws and these big 3-inch washer plates. Then we start putting the membrane on top. So much more intense.
You're tapping in at 30+ years of your experience every day when you come out working on these projects. Obviously, it's a big project. People invest a costly amount. They want it done right. You have built a company strictly as a referral based, priding yourself on honesty, quality, and performance. You don't go knocking on doors. Instead, you built a reputation where they come knocking on your door. Is it rewarding serving these communities along the Front Range?
Oh, absolutely. You know, some of the most rewarding parts are, you know, we get called to a house. Maybe it's an elderly widowed woman. She got taken advantage of by a previous contractor. We're able to get involved, help things, give her a new roof, get everything squared away with her insurance. A lot of times we're able to upgrade these shingle roofs to impact resistant shingles, get their insurance premiums dropped down a little bit. So that's the greatest part. When we can get a roof covered by insurance for somebody that didn't have the money to go buy a new roof on their own.
That is excellent. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can learn more about this company, learn more about the commercial and residential service they provide. They've got a blog and an FAQ where you can educate yourself. Definitely educate yourself. Go out, do the due diligence as we were talking about. Something as important as protection for your home or your business. Check out the project gallery there. They've got some great testimonials, an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Set up a free inspection. If you're not sure, they can come out and take a look for you. And like they said, not a bad idea of doing that at least on an annual basis. Prevention is always worth it when it comes to something like this. You can save yourself a lot of money and a lot of headaches. Once again, that is Rock Canyon Roofing since 2019, a referral-based company providing residential and commercial roofing with honesty, quality, and performance for the entire Front Range. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.